Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Alright, and welcome into another edition of the Vegas Squares podcast. We are in Studio B. B because I am Spike, sitting to my right is Token Tony, and Aaron is no longer with us. He's dead. Is he dead?
Something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
he's all the way across the country watching some hockey and some shenanigans going on around there.
Oh, that's fair then. I thought he died. There was so much blood in my bathtub, I figured it was him. Anyway. We are coming to you with our picks and chatter edition for the NFL Week 15. I can't believe it's Week 15 already, but here we are. The season is about to wrap up, as is our season-long contest where we are trying to pick winners in every game, and sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't. At least that's the way it feels nowadays. Before we really get into the meat of the matter, we do want to thank our sponsors. Thank you to 12 Ounce Sports for putting us on every 4 days or something.
Yes, every
4 days a week.
every Thursday,
You know the schedule is better than I
Saturday,
do.
Sunday, and Monday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what times, but
Yeah, and it's
I'm
all,
sure I could probably figure it
and
out
the
somehow.
schedule's all in Eastern time anyway, and I don't remember any of that
Yeah,
shit
it
anymore.
always fucks Aaron up. So
Yeah, and the good news is that starting soon, you will be able to hear more of me on these podcasts now that my semester is over, my class is over, the final has been passed in. I will be joining the podcast even more regularly.
sounds like one of my words coming out.
I think I know how to edit on this thing, so ugh, gross.
Could be worse.
We should also thank Vegas Pop Sockets for sponsoring us, as well as Chai Poker, although I do want to say to Chai Poker, if you're listening, how about answering me on WSOP.com? I keep seeing you on those dollar tournaments and trying to say shit to you, and you keep ignoring me, so...
I played against him on a few tournaments before. He knows who I am, so...
Yeah, he doesn't know me, but I've tried to say, this is Spike from Vegas Squares, say hi, and he wouldn't... I
He
even
wouldn't respond.
I even gave him a pot, like...
He's probably playing poker while playing poker.
He might have been, but
Yeah.
I gave him a pot and then said, I'm giving this pot to charity, and I got nothing out of him, so...
Not even a cricket chirp.
No! I
That's
was
unfortunate.
offended. Offended, I say!
Oh, yeah. Let's remind the listener what what our season long
Yeah, so...
bets are.
Our season-long contest is pretty simple. In every game played on a Sunday or Monday in the NFL, we have to pick one side of it, whether it be against the spread, a money line, or against the total. And you get 1 point for every game you get right. You lose a point for every game you get wrong. You are also allowed a blind bet for those games where you have absolutely no idea how it is going to go. You get 2 points if you get that right. You don't lose anything if you get it wrong. And finally, there is the Lock of the Week, which is worth 3 points one way or the other. Starting in Week 12, we started allowing only one moneyline favorite per week, but if you took any moneyline dog at plus 150 or better, you would get an extra point. What else? We have the past few weeks we have been doing guest picks, where we bring in somebody who may or may not know sports betting, and we allow them to pick as we pick, and then amongst the three of us, we say, if this person beats you, we lose a point. Which is all well and good, except for last week when my wife picked, and bless her heart, I love her to death. She's a brilliant attorney, incredibly smart, but God almighty did she get fucking slaughtered in this thing, putting up a -8 for the week.
I'm surprised I actually beat her. I thought my picks were awful.
Your picks were really fucking bad. I mean, you
Yeah.
did put up the -2 for the week, but...
I thought I was like around the -5 at best.
Yeah.
Even if I would have won the last 2 games.
Well, and this is the thing. You beat her by 6 points, which is great. But I
Yeah.
tried to get her on this week, and I was trying to say, if we do 2 week totals, So we take our 2-week total amongst our individual players here,
Yeah.
and against her 2-week total, if she beat anybody, that we would lose 2 points. But she unfortunately did not want to join us again this week.
Understandable. We'll get her on next year for sure,
Yeah.
if not later this season.
So what I decided to do instead, and I took the executive decision on this, is that I realized that for any particular game, there is one of 6 sides that we could take. Either the moneyline favorite, moneyline dog, over, under, favorite against the spread, dog against the spread. Right? So that's 6. So what I did was I wrote those down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 13 games being played. I rolled 13 dice.
Ooh, I like
I
it.
put them in a random order, and then I started going through the games and saying, this number corresponds to this pick in this game. So our guest picks are random.
By dice.
By dice.
I like it.
So for any of the craps dealers that are out there, this is right up your alley, I think. So
Yeah.
what I am proposing for this week, because this is random and because this is completely uneducated like the three of us,
How are they going to have a lock and a blind bet, though?
so what I did was, because, again, there were 13 games, I rolled 3 die in that case,
Yeah.
and essentially subtracted 2. So that way, because, obviously with 3 dice, you can't roll a number 1 or a number 2. So
Yeah.
I had to subtract 2 in order to be able to go on. And then if it went over the total, then I would do that. But then I would do a corresponding, whatever it rolled, that number game, the way that they are listed on covers.com, which is the site that we use for all of our information. That was how we determined the blind and the lock for the week. So there's some interesting, very, very interesting picks this week. And I think this is going to be kind of embarrassing if any of us lose. Because God almighty, they took some really thin lines in some of these games.
I like it, though. I remember you bringing up the proposition of it being -2 if we happen to lose to them.
Yeah.
I'll agree to that. We'll talk to Aaron and...
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not here, so I don't think he gets a vote. So let's just go with -2.
Fair enough.
All right, -2 this week it is, if any of us lose, and I'm going to write that into the spreadsheet here. All right. So, oh, God. I forgot in Studio B, if I type anything while we're recording, it
like,
sounds real bad.
Duh.
Yeah, whoops.
I am
is happening here?
Iron Man.
Crap. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, I screwed it up already.
Nice.
Oh, no.
Remind the listener where we're at currently in the season-long total as well.
Sure. So, going into this week 15, I am currently in last place with 29 points.
That's a lot better than you were sitting even a month ago.
That is true. I have had some pretty good weeks recently, except last week. Last week I only put up a 1.
It's better than one I did, so.
Yeah. I'm in last place. You are currently in second place with 31 points. And the fearless leader who couldn't even be bothered to be here today, Aaron, has 36 points. So none of us are out of it. None of us have run away with it. And,
not quite yet. I mean, still 3 weeks of plenty of games on the slate, so.
Oh, for sure. And we and remember, this is we're all in for $100 each, winner take all. So, and then
Ship
we've
it.
got all sorts of other side bets and props and all sorts of other shit that we're going to worry about at the end of the season, because that's when they really come
Because we're
up.
degens.
We really fucking are degenerates, aren't we?
I thought I was pretty bad before I started doing the podcast.
No.
Wow, was I wrong?
Yeah, no, we feed into this real bad. So, yeah, if any of you are thinking about moving to Las Vegas and you have vices, I would say, move into a church. Move into a place where they are not going to encourage you to do these kinds of things.
Fun stat of the of the Vegas Squares podcast this week.
No.
There are more churches in Las Vegas than casinos.
That is true. I actually, when I was doing my master's degree, I actually had to research something about churches, and there's something like 460 something in the Clark County.
Yeah, and casino or official casino / resorts or whatever, I think it's 200-ish something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
hey, Sin City no more. We are blessed, or I don't know.
whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
Whatever the fuck you believe in.
we're really going off the rails without Aaron.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that Aaron is just there to, kind of run the board and make sure we don't go over time, but I think he kind of keeps us on track.
I think he keeps us on track as well as kind of on topic, so.
Yeah. Also, Studio B, I'm so not used to this setup, I'm going to keep bashing my head off the fucking mic stand here, apparently.
Maybe that might help you with your picks this week.
Yeah, knock some sense into me, I think.
Yeah.
So, how about, before we dive right in, even though I would like to, there are 2 games coming up on Saturday. They're not going to be part of the contest here, but why don't you give us a little bit of your take, where you're leaning in these games. We'll start with Houston and the Jets. The line opened as Houston as a 5.5-point favorite. It has moved to Houston as a touchdown favorite. Total went from 42.5. It is now at 44. What are you liking in this game?
This game I really like. I really like the Jets in this matchup. I believe they even have a shot to beat Houston outright. I believe Houston is going to struggle against the matchup with the Jets' defense, unless if Miller is able to run against their secondary and push for some big yards, how he was able to against, Tennessee?
Yeah, and we have seen the Jets' defense look impressive in certain games this year, especially against...
Lions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's Detroit,
Something that I read earlier kind of shocked me. The Lions are not officially out of the playoffs.
Really? I'm going to bring up the standings here.
But
yeah.
the chances of them making the playoffs are 0.0001%. Something around there.
That's not great.
No. But saying there's a chance.
Let's see here, yep. Just bringing up the standings just so we can take a look, even though it doesn't necessarily matter until the games have been played. But yeah, you're right. The Lions at 5-8 are not mathematically eliminated.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm very surprised.
Wow.
My prediction of the Packers being the worst in the NFC North is still alive, too.
That's true.
I remember saying that at the beginning of the year, and I was hoping it was going to be towards the Lions at the top, but yeah.
Well, the Bears kind of surprised everybody. I have a future bet on the Bears winning fewer than 7 games this year, so what the fuck do I know?
That's lit on fire, I'm sure. Used as toilet paper, too.
Yeah, well, that I fully admit I was completely wrong about Trubisky. I thought he was going to be a dud.
No, I think he's good with a chance to even develop to be even better.
Wow, that's saying something because he's looked pretty impressive. Let's get into the second Saturday game here just very quickly. Browns traveling to Denver. This game moved a little bit, opened as Denver as a 4-point favorite. It's moved to under a field goal at 2.5.
Yeah, that movement kind of surprised me, but I still like Cleveland in this matchup. I believe Denver's going to struggle, especially with so many injuries on that offense. I believe in this matchup it comes down to who's the better quarterback, and I believe Baker is.
I don't think you're going too far out on a limb saying that Baker is the better quarterback. I'm actually looking at this total. It's opened at 44.5. It's moved to 46, but with all the injuries on Denver's offense, like you said...
Yeah, I like the under in that spot, too.
Yeah, I mean, that just... It screams under to me.
Yeah, I see like a 21-17 kind of game, something around there.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's going to be an interesting game. I just realized that this is probably airing Sunday morning, so these games have already been played.
I mean, we'll share them, but yeah, I mean...
Yeah, well...
You're listening to the future of the Vegas Squares network system.
Yeah, well...
another thing that concerns me about Houston against the Jets is how Deshaun Watson's going to handle the elements in New York with the wind gusts and all that, swirling winds and all that. I believe the Jets' defense is going to take advantage of that with a few picks and all that. So
that's true. Dome quarterback on the road in the weather never really fares all that well.
Yeah,
that's
as well as I like the under. I think the under is a good bet in that spot.
Don't they say life's too short to bet the under, and we're saying under in both of these games?
Yeah, I don't see possibilities for the over too much, but I mean, I do a lot of studying on the totals last week. It didn't really show for it, but
Yeah, that didn't work too well
AKA
for you.
one of my nicknames, Total Tony.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, shit. I was supposed to call you what? Felipe? No,
Yeah, that's one
we're
of
past
them.
Felipe.
Shit stainer.
That was one. Yep. I know Aaron was shit cunt. God, you had another nickname that we just came up with like last week, and I
I don't
already
know.
forget what it is. Anyway,
There's too many of them in that cabinet.
how about, since we're now 15 minutes into this podcast, why don't we get on with the actual goddamn picks, and let's start with one of Aaron's teams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers go on the road to face Baltimore. This game really hasn't moved all that much. The total opened at 47.5, with Baltimore as a 7.5 point favorite. The total dropped a point, but the spread has stayed at 7.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little surprised by the spread. I thought it would be a point in the opposite direction. I thought it would be around 6.5, with Baltimore being the favorite. That being said, my pick for this game is the under 46.5. I believe both defenses are able to contain the other offenses. I believe Tampa Bay's defense will be able to slow Lamar Jackson down and cause him to make a few mistakes, take a few hits, and this one should be pretty close. I would like Tampa Bay plus the points in this one, but I don't feel absolutely confident in this, so under's my pick.
I agree with you, especially with Lamar Jackson, who has never thrown for more than about 180 yards in any game in his career. I do enjoy watching him play. I kind of enjoy the comparisons to Michael Vick. What I hate recently is that a lot of Patriots fans are saying that they should have drafted Lamar Jackson instead of Sony Michel because they feel that Lamar Jackson is the future of the league, and he could be the heir apparent to Tom Brady.
I don't agree with that statement.
No, neither do I. I think it's absolutely fucking insane.
I think had he been there on their second pick, then I could see that case. But
yeah, you don't take a
mean,
first-round pick on a guy like this. But, I mean, to be fair, he has been very impressive, but I want to see him 2, 3, 4 years down the road.
yeah,
and see
I
what
mean,
he
he's
does.
a very flashy player, like kind of RG3, and you know where that went. So
Yeah, well, I'm more concerned about Belichick and Josh McDaniels being able to craft an offense around this guy because he is such a polar opposite quarterback than Tom Brady. I don't know that they would be able to use him effectively.
no, it would be definitely a struggle on the coaching aspect of it.
So, to get to my pick here, I actually agree with you. I think under 46.5 makes a ton of sense here. Seems like the type of game where famous Jameis falls into his old habits of throwing interceptions, which gives the ball back to Baltimore. Baltimore, they may or may not be able to do things with the ball, given that Lamar Jackson can't really throw and help his offense out with his arm. So I don't see this being a very high-scoring game. I think under 46.5 is the right play, and I am very nervous about this now because that is also what the Phantom Picker has.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
the dice came down and said under the total on this one, so we're going under 46.5. Aaron is the only one going against the spread. He has taken Tampa Bay plus the points.
I don't disagree with that pick. I believe that is a smart pick as well.
I wonder how confident in that he is, or if he thinks that, that there have been plenty of games where when it's 7.5, he'll take the plus 7.5, thinking that the game will end exactly at 7 points.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that for sure.
So anyway,
That I could see. I could also see them losing by 10, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a side, then that I would take Tampa plus the points. I think that is a smarter play against the spread.
Yeah, and it certainly seems like a spot where, Tampa could be down by 10, 12 points. They put up that last-second touchdown in garbage time, and
Yeah.
then kind of screw everything up for the people that bet on Baltimore. But no, I'm with you on that one. So we are going to move on to, what is this, the Snooze Bowl? What do we want to call this game? Oakland and Cincinnati. Oakland on the road going to Ohio.
Yeah.
This game hasn't moved much. Half point on the total and the spread. Opening at 46.5. Now the total's at 46. Cincinnati opened at a 3.5 point favorite down to 3.
Yeah, this one's kind of an interesting matchup. I know Gruden even came out this week. He's been going in the office very early all year. He's been trying to win, and lately it's been kind of showing. I mean, the upset over Pittsburgh, I really like that matchup, and really liked Oakland plus the points in that one. This week, I believe it's going to be a little different. I'm not sure if they win the outright, but they keep it close. Give me Oakland plus the points.
Yeah,
They might win it, but I'll just take the safety blanket plus the points.
Is that a motorcycle I hear in the background?
Sounds like it.
God, see, this is the problem, though. So I'm going to break the fourth wall for just a minute here. The place where my house is right now, there's a road to the west and then nothing behind it. That area hasn't been developed yet. So what people will do is they will come to that stretch of road and they will kind of pause and then tear out in, motorcycles or rice rockets or modified cars or this, that, and the other thing. So we have these drag race sounding things happening all the goddamn time. I actually wanted... I
believe I saw Duck Brown the other day go down the street at 88 miles an hour.
I'm thinking about putting a sign up at the end of the street that says, "Rev your engine loud so we can hear how much your mother didn't love you." I don't know if the HOA will approve me putting that up there, but never hurts to dream here.
Just put it behind your neighbor's property. I won't say which ones.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, too, because where the studio is, I want to yell and scream, but, again, breaking the fourth wall, it's nearly midnight Friday night, Saturday morning, and the house closest to us are the good neighbors. If we were on the other side with the shit neighbors, and I would be yelling and screaming and waking their kids up, I don't give a fuck. I hate those people. But the people that are actually close to us are actually nice. I love these people, so I don't want to be too loud. The house is relatively soundproof. But anyway, we're getting kind of off the rails here. For Oakland and Cincinnati, I am with you in the sense that I think right now, given the injuries, given the trends, given the way that these teams are playing, I think Oakland is the better team. And I never at any point thought I would hear myself saying that this season. But Oakland has been showing that they can compete with the big boys, that they are starting to put together the team, and I don't know if it's Gruden's philosophies coming through or if the team is just sick and tired of being embarrassed week in and week out.
I think a mixture of both.
But I think you're right. I think Oakland is playing well enough right now that I actually am surprised that they are a dog in this game, especially given the injuries to Cincinnati right now. I am taking Oakland money line. The money line right now is 150, so it is right on that cusp of the extra point. I am rolling with Raider Nation, even though it's a West Coast team traveling east. I know that never works out well, but I think this is the right play for this game. I will say that Aaron disagrees with me. Aaron is going Cincinnati -3 in this game. He apparently likes the home favorite here. I think he is convinced that the fuck's Cincinnati's quarterback's name? Driscoll?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Whatever his name is. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. He's apparently has more faith in him than Carr.
Yeah.
But, sorry. And for the Phantom picker here, over the total 46. I
don't think Cincinnati scores that much.
I don't think either of these teams. I don't think either of these teams score at all.
I say like a 20-17 kind of game. Maybe 18-17. Something around there. A lot of field goal kicks for sure.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Neither of these teams have really been able to punch it in the end zone. So I'm over is... But, we see this every year. We see these games where everybody's like, oh, this game's going to be a grind-em-out type game, and that ends up being like fucking 45-41.
Or a shootout game that becomes like a 9-6 kind of game.
Exactly. That's why I bet the under when it was Kansas City and the Rams.
Yeah.
I bet the under in that game.
Yeah.
It went to 100 and something points.
105 or something, yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Well, they came out with a statement if they two match up in the Super Bowl, I'm not sure if that'd be the same now with Hunt out for Kansas City, that the total would open around 73.
Jesus.
Yeah.
73 in an NFL game for a total.
That's what one of the spokespersons for the Superbook said, yeah.
Wow. That's unbelievable to me.
That's, outrageously
God.
Crazy.
I love it, though. I
do too, yeah. And people would take the over.
Oh, yeah.
That's the sad thing.
What do you mean sad? I'd probably take the over.
I'd probably take the under. I'd be at the square.
Well, speaking of totals, how about this one sitting at 39.5? We have Detroit, your Lions, facing the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. This game actually, I can't believe I'm saying this. This game opened as a pick'em, and now the Bills are a 2.5-point favorite.
I'm not surprised by that, actually.
Really?
I do believe Buffalo at home is the better team.
Huh, okay.
This one should be cold. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be any snow or rain or big gust of winds or anything.
I usually do weather research when I actually do research. I didn't this week at all. Kind of making this shit up.
Yeah. This one, I am going to take Buffalo minus the points. I believe, besides the Patriots, that whole division has our number.
Cheap shot, but okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, no, I
Hence the end of the Lions' playoff hopes.
yeah. I think I'm with you. I started the season hating on Josh Allen. I still don't like him. I still wouldn't want him to be the quarterback. I still don't think he's very good, but he's a lot better than I expected him to be. And he's been playing very well recently. If Buffalo can figure out how to combine him and LaShawn McCoy into an effective offense, I think that would be a lot better. I don't see any news saying that LaShawn McCoy is out, so I think that he's probably safe to be playing here. I think I'm with you on this one.
He's probably playing, might be limited slightly, but probably good to go.
Yeah,
So.
even with a pitch count, I still think that he's too dangerous. I don't think Detroit can stop him, and I feel bad because Matt Patricia was amazing for New England. I wanted to see him succeed as a head coach, but God, is he off to a rough start, and his team just is not responding well to him.
Yeah, I believe if we don't get rid of Patricia, it's not looking good for the Lions.
Yeah, but and for this particular game, I think with those trends coming in, I'm with you. Buffalo minus the 2.5. I think that makes a lot of sense. The Phantom Picker is actually trying to give you hope. They're taking Detroit on the money line in this one.
They are fucking nutcases.
The money line is only plus 115 right now, so they're not going to get the bonus point for that. But right now, they apparently feel confident enough. I don't know why I'm trying to justify this pick. Aaron is actually going over the total 39.5. What do you think of that one? Two teams, presumably in the cold, probably in the snow, that really haven't looked great offensively all season.
He's probably looking for 2 defensive touchdowns by one team and another by the other team. I mean, Darius Slay last week had the big pick 6 against Arizona. Buffalo, I believe, could have a pick 6, if not more, by shitty Stafford. So that's another person I want gone out of this organization.
What's his contract for? Another 7 years, 8 years?
Too fucking long.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm never a fan of those huge long contracts, even for guys that you assume that are going to be there forever.
I would trade Stafford for, name me about half the quarterbacks in the league. I would probably take them.
Blake Bortles,
Probably not.
Eli Manning.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I would say Eli Manning. Yes.
You would take Eli over Pat Stafford
because
right
he
now.
would have more cap space too. I mean, that's part of the factor.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I
for
forgot
sure
about
part of the
cap
factor,
space.
yeah.
Okay. That is fair. Okay.
Yeah.
What about Jameis Winston?
Probably, yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Probably, yeah. Just because he's got an awesome beard. He didn't get along good with Patricia.
Fair enough. Let's see. I'm gonna give one more quarterback. How about Andy Dalton? Assuming he's healthy next year, Andy Dalton.
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not Dalton.
Okay. All right. So we know kind of where you're.
I thought you were going to say Prescott, actually.
Yeah,
That'd be another good one.
I was leaning towards Prescott, but I think he's still too young, and the cap space is so different between Prescott and Stafford that.
Sadly, due to that reason, I'd probably take Prescott, but I would think we'd have a worse team.
Yeah, I don't. Mobile quarterbacks always scare the hell out of me. And I know Prescott has proven that he can actually win games with his arm, and he doesn't rely on having to run the ball. But that just always worries me when I see one of those quarterbacks scrambling, because we just saw what happened to Garoppolo, and we've seen what has happened to other quarterbacks getting their careers cut short because of that.
Even Rivers the other day, that little run that he had where he got down and took that little late hit that wasn't called.
Oh yeah, that was a ridiculous fucking game.
Yeah, there are a lot of bad calls on both sides of the ball and a lot of bad no calls on both sides of the ball, and
yeah, a lot of people
it was
unhappy
a good
with that
game
one.
no matter what though. But
oh yeah, for sure.
But due to that fact, that kind of ruined that game, and I hope they meet in the playoffs.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
That'd be fun. And I'd still like the Clippers. God damn it! I was about to say San Diego, and then I was about to say Arizona.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into the teams that you can't fuck up. How about Dallas going to Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Cowboys right now are a 3-point road dog. Total's currently sitting at 47.5. I'm actually surprised. 55% of the money is coming in on Dallas right now, and I'm a little curious about that one.
I believe due to the fact that the game's inside gives Dallas a little more credibility to what they can do.
Okay.
But this one, I'm going to use them as my blind bet. I'm going to take Indy minus the points. I believe they are the better team. They win this game probably by about a touchdown. I don't know what to think on the total on this, though. 47.5. I'd probably go towards the over, but I wouldn't feel confident as much in it.
Yeah, neither would I. Ezekiel Elliott is probable. T.Y. Hilton is probable. So you think that those big offensive weapons are going to be there for both of these teams. Mm-hmm. I do think Dallas can put up a ton of points in this game. I don't know if it's going to be enough to overcome the good Indianapolis Colts. The problem that I'm seeing is that in the last few games, we've seen some examples of the bad Indianapolis Colts, especially that shutout that they pitched in against Jacksonville.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, so for me, that worries me a little too much. I like the way that Dallas is playing a little too well, especially knowing that they're going to be on top of the NFC East, and they're going to have to play hard in order to keep that. I'm actually taking the Cowboys plus the 3 in this spot.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm going to be right or wrong. I will say that the player in this league that my wife hates the most is Andrew Luck, and it's primarily because, according to her, he is always making a dumb face. I think that's just his face, but she thinks that he is making stupid expressions every time she sees him. So she's
smiling at me.
She's happy every time I bet against Indy, and I think this is a great spot to get to bet against Indy.
I believe Indy's defense is going to prepare for Cooper as well as Zeke, and that's what's going to be the difference maker in this.
Yeah, and we said at the beginning of the season that Indy's defense was supposed to be atrocious, and they ended up being mediocre.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, where they want it to be. I just don't know that they have enough on the defense to be able to stop all of Dallas's weapons, which I think is going to get them in trouble. Aaron actually disagrees with me. He is taking Indy on the money line as his lock of the week.
Okay.
Which, when we started implementing this rule that you could take one money line favorite,
makes me not like my pick even more.
Yeah, well, when we started saying that you could take one money line favorite, typically we're looking for the gigantic lines. Like we're coming up on Atlanta and Arizona, which is a 10-point spread right now.
Yeah.
Usually somebody would use their lock of the week for that, but Aaron apparently thinks that this is the game to use his 3-point swing on, so more power to him. The Phantom Picker actually disagrees with you about the total. They are going under the 47.5.
Interesting.
So I'm curious to see how that one ends up. We talked a second ago about who you would trade for, and this is one where I was shocked that you would actually give up the GOAT and go after Eli Manning and his New York Giants hosting the Tennessee Titans. This spread, I don't know what to make of it, and we're going to have to actually confer with Aaron to see what he wants to do. It opened as the Giants as a 2.5-point favorite. It has moved to the Giants as a 1-point dog at home.
Yeah, that's a little surprising movement, to be honest. And, Tennessee, on neutral site, I believe is the better team. But Giants have definitely stepped up their game lately, as well as with Shaquan Barkley being able to be a good dual threat running back. So
So is that you're taking the Giants?
I, in this game, am going to take the Giants.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think they are the better team at home. This one should be actually an interesting one to watch. I do plan on watching that on the Red Zone channel a lot, probably.
There you go. Yeah, and I think you're right. It's going to be an interesting one. Taking them plus the money line sitting at plus 100, so you're not getting any kind of bonus point if you
Like
take a money line.
if I was betting the game, I'd probably take them on the money line, just because the minus the juice,
Yeah.
pretty much. So
I'm with you on that one. Aaron currently has this he took the original line. He has Tennessee plus 2.5, so we have to figure out what he wants to do now that Tennessee's a favorite here. I am I'm not happy with any of this. I'll be perfectly honest, but I think we've seen in the last few weeks the Giants have been playing for their jobs. Saquon Barkley has looked unbelievable. And even Tennessee has been able to put up points. So for me, I'm actually liking the over in this game at 43.5. I think this spot. I don't think the weather's going to slow down either of these teams all that much. And I think
Tennessee even has some cooler weather in their area.
Yeah, and even with Saquon Barkley keeping the ball on the ground and keeping the clock moving, I still think both of these teams are going to be able to trade blows back and forth enough that they're going to be able to go over that total. I don't expect it to go way over the total. I think
See
45.
Like a 27 to 20 kind of game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the type of thing that I see where they're just going to barely go over. It'll take, probably into the last couple of minutes of the fourth quarter, and I'll get there, and I think that's a safe bet. Our Phantom Picker, Tennessee money line, which money line doesn't really do much good here since it's only a 1 point money line. But
yeah, it's pretty much like a pick 'em.
Yeah, so more power to him on that one. Let's move on to the Miracle Kids, the goddamn fucking Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, against the...
Yeah, on the road in Minnesota, 7.5 point dogs to the Vikings.
This line was very interesting when it opened up. This might be one of the oddest lines of the week, based on how Miami has done this year, as well as they're still in playoff contention. Same with Minnesota as well. I mean, Minnesota, I think, desperately needs to win more in this spot. Question is, will they cover, though? I mean...
Yeah, 7.5 is a big number.
7.5 is a big number. I'm going to go with the over in this spot. Current total is 44.5. I do believe Miami puts up about 20. Minnesota puts up about 27. Not covering the spread, but enough to win the game and get the over.
I will say that Aaron disagrees with you. He is going under the total at 44.5. I don't have his logic behind that, but we've seen Minnesota's defense really prepare well, and they've being able to hold, who was it, the Rams to 6 points last week or 2 weeks ago, or they were held to, I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The Minnesota defense.
Last week they played the Seahawks and they gave up 14 points late, but only 21 total.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a team that can shut down other offenses. Presumably, that's where he's going with this. I am actually using my Coward's Lock of the Week. I'm taking Minnesota on the money line. I think the Miami Miracle, they won their Super Bowl last week. We've seen what that does to teams where they win the big game that they prepared all season for, and then all of a sudden they fall off the face of the fucking earth. Jacksonville. So this is the type of game where I see Minnesota steamrolling. The 7.5 actually doesn't scare me at all. I wouldn't mind taking that line, but I think right now, right this spot, I'm actually going to roll Minnesota money line in this one. And our Phantom Picker is actually with The Dolphins plus the 7.5. So
Interesting.
curious to see how that one
All
works out for
around
them.
different sides, pretty much on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we've. This is one of my favorite types of games where all four of us are on a different spot. So now we have the hapless Arizona Cardinals traveling to Atlanta, who aren't much better.
Aren't much better, but are 10-point favorites somehow.
Which, I mean, can you believe this? So, Arizona's 3-10, Atlanta is 4-9. Against the spread, Atlanta is 2-5 at home, and Atlanta's a 10-point favorite. How does that happen?
Who the hell was making these lines?
It's so absurd to me. But
I
I
know.
mean, some people are taking it. I don't really know what to make of the whole thing.
Yeah, this one I like Arizona plus the points. I believe their offense is better this week than what they showed against Detroit somehow. So
No, I'm completely with you on this one, as is the Phantom Picker, although the Phantom Picker is taking this as their blind bet of the week.
okay.
Arizona plus the 10. Aaron apparently disagrees with us.
Oh, yeah.
Atlanta minus the 10 for Aaron. I wish he were here so that he could justify this.
I do believe Matt Ryan is the better quarterback as of now.
Oh, yeah, of course he is, but
But they have no run game. They're one-dimensional offense right now. They do have Julio Jones. I will give them that. But that's not enough to cover this game. I mean, you got Aaron's favorite player of all time, Larry Fitzgerald.
yeah, and I mean, you know, a lot of these
Jeez.
teams, a lot of the games that Arizona's been playing, they've been close. But I want to read some of these trends that we're seeing on Covers.com for the Falcons. Falcons are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 home games versus a team with a losing road record, which is a mouthful to say, but it's basically saying they stink against teams that stink. They're playing down to the level of the team that is coming there on the road and they're losing to them, or they're losing against the spread. Falcons are 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games in December. They're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games against the NFC. 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 home games. 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games following a straight-up loss. 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games following against the spread loss. 0-6 against the spread versus a team with a losing record. 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games overall, and 0-4 against the spread in the last 4 games on Gret. Like, what in these trends is Aaron seeing to take Atlanta? That's what I want to know.
I agree with Aaron in the spot that NFL trends you should pretty much toss out the window. But Atlanta minus 10? What?
Yeah, no, that's absurd. Shame
Yeah.
on you. Shame on you, world traveler.
Yeah.
I don't know what...
If I had to pick a side on this, I'd probably take the over, though. I do believe neither team's going to be able to control the ball on the ground as effectively as they hope, and they just go through the air, so a lot of stoppage time.
I could actually see that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to an NFC North battle, one I'm actually really curious about because
Yes.
this is one that we talked about earlier where I was very wrong about the quarterback. Green Bay traveling to Chicago, and I never thought I'd say these words, but Green Bay, a 5.5-point dog to the Bears. The
Yeah.
Bears, and a total at 45 right now.
Yeah, this one will be definitely a game to watch in the morning games for sure. On the dual screen, I will definitely have this one up because who the fuck cares about the fucking Lions?
Come
Yeah.
on, man. They're your home team. Home
They fucking
team.
suck.
Yeah, I know. They're really fucking
Sadly,
bad.
I'm one of their biggest fans out here too.
Oh, God,
yeah.
that's got to be embarrassing.
Yeah, they have at least one fan out here.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, I like the Bears in this matchup. I'm not sure about them against the spread, but fuck it, give it to me.
Ooh.
Give me Chicago minus the 5.5. I do believe they are the better team. They win this game. I do believe the defense is going to be able to pick apart the Packers, as well as slow them down. Aaron Rodgers probably goes down in this game.
You love trying to predict when Aaron Rodgers is going to get when quarterbacks in general are trying to get knocked out of
So
game.
far, I'm not good at all.
just-
Desiree's done better than me on that.
That is true. She did nail that one, didn't she? We're
Oh
actually
my
we're
God,
getting to
yeah.
that game next, but
Yeah.
no. And the Phantom Picker is with you. They are taking Chicago minus the 5.5. I am also with you in this game. Chicago minus the 5.5. I don't think Green Bay competes at all in this game. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is able to scrape together a garbage time touchdown or two, but I just do not see Green Bay, for all of their flaws, being able to keep pace with the Chicago team. This Chicago team is legit, and I'm not willing to crown them as the NFC champions and representing the NFC in the Super Bowl as of yet. But I'm
Ooh.
getting there. I
I
really
have to disagree with you on that. I've been on them for like the past month now.
Oh, I know. I know you have. I still think the Rams are the better team slightly, very, very slightly.
It's close, but I feel more on this Bears team, and they're actually starting to develop slightly a run game now.
Yeah, no, that's true, and
That's
that does
something
scare
to be
me.
scary. I believe this defense for the Bears, even before Matt came around, was one of the more dominants in this league. So
Yeah, no, I think you're right, but I'm with you on that. Aaron is once again disagreeing with us.
no,
He's taking Green Bay plus that 5.5. I think.
means we're reeling in the fish.
Yep, yes we are. So, moving on, we have the Washington Redskins and the Jacksonville Jaguars in the Who Fucking Cares Bowl Part 2.
Yes.
This game is Jacksonville is a 7.5 point favorite for, I guess they just assume that Washington will finish the game at negative 0.5 points. And the total is an abysmal 36 points.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the lowest totals I've seen in a game where weather hasn't been a big factor, and I could definitely see it going under, but I'm taking Washington in this spot. Washington plus the points. I do believe they are even the better team, even going into Jacksonville. I believe Jacksonville just pure sucks, even though they beat Indy and all that. I mean, they've been struggling with the run game, with even their defense at times and all that. This game might have a few fights in it, though.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, good old hockey game right here.
I see a few laundry flags on the field, for sure. Maybe a helmet or two coming off, too.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
No, I will say that Aaron is on the over at 36. The Phantom Picker is not only on the over, but they're actually using it as the lock of the week,
Nice.
which is I don't know. I'm actually taking Jacksonville in this spot. I don't like Jacksonville. I think they're fucking terrible. I don't like anything that I've seen out of them, but I think Washington is basically pulling people out of the stands and trying to say, "Here, you go be quarterback for a quarter and see what happens."
I would almost use this as my lock of the week, but I feel more confident in a different game. So
That I think that's reasonable, but I think
Yeah.
right here, Jacksonville, the 7.5 scares the shit out of me. Don't get me wrong. I would be using this as my blind bet if I wasn't using it on another game, but right now, Jacksonville minus the 7.5, and we gotta keep rolling along because we're actually starting to run out of time thanks to our fucking blathering on at the beginning of this thing. We have coming up into the afternoon games, Seattle and San Francisco, a battle of NFC West teams that probably won't make the playoffs, or they won't win the division anyway, because the Rams have already clinched.
yeah, they clinched it 4 weeks ago, or something around there.
Something like that.
Yeah.
This game has moved a little bit. San Francisco opened as a 5.5 point dog. They've moved to a 3.5 point dog at home. Total has stayed steady at 44.5.
Yeah, I like Seattle in this one, minus the points. Again, I almost want to use this as my lock of the week, but I'm saving that for a different game too. So
Yeah, this is, I think to me, a very weird spot because I just don't know what to make of San Francisco, and they've kind of become my new Cincinnati, where I always said I could never pick a Cincinnati game properly. San Francisco's become that for me. The problem is I think that Russell Wilson is too good. I think Seattle is finally figuring out how to run the ball, especially with Rashad Penny, who I still think was a terrible fucking pick in the first round, but we can talk about that when Aaron gets back and he goes over all the offensive linemen that were there that aren't starting. Blah, 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 blah.
at the spot that they were in, I don't think it was the best pick, but I don't believe it was a horrible pick.
Yeah, I just I'm not a super big fan of that, and especially when the quarterback gets sacked more than anybody else in the league. You take an offensive lineman in the next draft, and I don't give a fuck what else.
Yeah, they had a few of those key players available, and they passed them up. And
yeah, it was just anyway. So that's. I think Seattle's just too good. I think 3.5 is a line that's a little too low for this game. So I think Seattle can win this one pretty easily. The Phantom Picker is actually going over the total 44.5, which I actually don't hate that play at all. I think San Francisco and Seattle are both capable of putting up 20 to 25 points apiece. I think right at that line is pretty good. Another one of those games where it might go over, just squeak over a little bit. Aaron actually is using this as his blind bet, going San Francisco money line, and the money line at plus 165 would get him the extra point on that.
the boner bonus.
Yeah, the boner bonus for him.
Yeah. Will he get the shafter?
Oh, gross. Moving on. Moving on to the teams, the game that I'm going to be watching most closely because it involves my beloved New England Patriots trying to not fuck up the rest of the season, going to Pittsburgh and playing the Steelers. Steelers, a 2.5-point dog. Total opened at 52. It has moved to 54. This is kind of an interesting game because the Steelers have looked awful the last few weeks.
Yeah. What's the status on Connors in this one?
That's a mighty good question. I believe
Questionable.
still questionable. Vegas Insider just has a question mark. They don't even have it listed as questionable. So I do not know what the status is going to be.
Oh. Yeah, I believe if he does not play, this is definitely going to be a struggle for Pittsburgh, and they desperately need the win. But give me New England minus the points. I don't think a one-dimensional Pittsburgh team is going to be able to keep up with New England, especially after their rough situation of losing last week to the Dolphins.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Tom Brady's in fuck you mode, and when he gets that way, it's scary. I wouldn't want to be anybody else on that field, because when he gets into that mode, this is exactly the type of quarterback where we could see him put up 7 touchdowns and 500 yards. The problem is I just don't have any faith in the New England defense anymore. And that has nothing to do with that final trick play that Miami ran where they were able to get that miracle lateral touchdown thing. That I don't care about. It's the rest of the way that they played the game. They're I don't know what's happening. They're playing too far off of the receivers. They're not rushing the quarterback nearly as much as they need to be. I think Roethlisberger in this spot might actually be able to eke out a win, and I hate saying that, especially when they're in Pittsburgh, especially when every win is so important for New England when it comes to playoff seeding right now. But I think this is a spot where Pittsburgh money line is a blind bet, don't get me wrong, and it's not even the bonus points because it's only plus 120, but I think I have to stay there.
Happiness hedge kind of bet.
Yeah, exactly. I actually, before I did any research, when I set up the spreadsheet for this week, I just instantly went to this game and put Pittsburgh moneyline blind bet. Didn't even do research on it. I had no idea what the line was going to be. Just Pittsburgh moneyline.
I thought it would be closer to almost a pick 'em because I thought maybe the books would have a little more respect for Pittsburgh having multiple offensive wide receiver weapons. But I think due to the fact that no run game equals one dimension, I believe New England will be able to contain them.
Yeah, no,
and that's what the books see.
I think you're absolutely right. Aaron is actually going under the total of 54.
I don't disagree with that play.
Yeah.
If I was a side on the total, I would probably take the under as well. I see like a 27-24 kind of game.
I think that makes a lot of sense to me as well, but
Roethlisberger with an interception around the goal line.
I could see it, and
don't rip up your tickets until this one's over.
Yeah, the Phantom Picker is actually with me on Pittsburgh money line, so nice. I don't know what to make of that, to be perfectly honest. We are moving on to the last two games here. We have the Sunday night game, Philadelphia traveling to Los Angeles to take on those mighty Rams. God, this line has moved a lot. Rams
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Rams opened as 8.5-point favorites. It's moved to 13.
Yeah.
Almost 2 touchdown favorites for the LA Rams.
I do believe the Rams are the better team in this. And still have to play for that seeding, of course. I do believe they win this game. I'm not sure about cover the spread because Philly is going to play pretty hard as well. They are looking for the playoff spot as well. I do believe they will not get the W. Give me the Rams money line lock of the week. Think that's a smart play. They might even cover the 13 though, and I would not be surprised. The only thing that worries me is Rams being able to contain the wide receivers of Philly, as well as Ertz.
Yeah, and that has me a little bit worried as well. The Rams defense, we've seen it exposed a couple of times this year. I don't think that Philadelphia quite has the ability to win the game. You're right. But that line of 13 scares the hell out of me. I am actually with Aaron on this one, taking Philadelphia plus 13. Not confident in it by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like the way that plays. The Phantom Picker is taking the Rams minus the 13 in this spot. That's a stretch. I mean, that's too many points for me. But that is the big spread of the week as well, and I know Aaron does like to take the dog in those big spread games. I don't think it's worked out too well for him.
No, it has not at all. But this one, I would not disagree with taking the dog in against the spread.
Yeah.
Since it's moved so much, but I see Rams by a touchdown, maybe 10 points or so.
Yeah, I think...
like 30-20, something around there.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. We'll move on to the Monday night game, the last game on our slate right here. We have the Saints and the Panthers. Panthers a home dog, 6.5 points. Total is moved from 54 all the way down to 50.5.
Yeah, this game's definitely going to be one of the better Monday night games, I believe, of the year. Not the best, but I would say towards the top. 6.5 on the road for the Saints is going to be tough, though, in Carolina. Carolina desperately needs to win to try and stay in the playoff picture. Even if they lose, they still might be in, but very slim at that point. I believe Cam Newton plays very well, but Drew Brees is definitely the better prime-time quarterback. Give me the Saints minus the points. It almost feels too good to be true, but with their struggles as of late. But I think the Saints bounce back because I believe the Rams win, and they still have to keep up with the Rams to try and get that number 1 seed.
Yeah, I think you're right to that point, and I've picked Carolina the last few weeks, and they have burned me pretty much every time. Carolina's 2 up and down for me. They are 5-1 at home, 4-2 against the spread at home, but it's just a little too wonky of a spot. I think New Orleans is a little too strong. I'm with you on this one. Saints minus the 6.5. I think is the better play. I just think that Drew Brees is too good, and I don't think Carolina's defense is fast enough to keep up with the Kamara and the other receivers in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Our non-entities this week disagree with us. Aaron is taking Carolina on the money line. Our Phantom Picker is taking Carolina plus the 6.5. So I'm very curious to see how this all ends up.
Yeah, I believe the X factor in this one is going to be McCarty.
Yeah. No,
whether he's able to kind of expose that New Orleans defense and gain a few chunks of yards.
Yeah,
move the sticks and.
I think you're absolutely right about that, and I think the ground game is going to be super important in this one. So
on both sides of the ball, yeah.
So anyway, that just about does it for our picks. We are running out of time. Normally at this point we would do our bold prediction of the week. However, I don't have Aaron's, and I don't feel comfortable giving ours out without having him around. So,
till next week then.
Yeah, check out. Well, we'll do bold predictions. We will text each other, figure out what we're going to do, and then we will put that out on our Twitter page. So be sure to pay attention to Vegas Squares. Pay attention to my Twitter page as well, at Spike McAwesome and at Token Tony. right? Is it Token Tony?
At
Twitter?
Token Tony 89, I believe.
Token Tony 89 on Twitter. We will have the bold predictions out there. Those are worth a point apiece if we get them right. Any last words before we wrap up here?
No, I think I'm good. Should be a good week of exciting NFL football. Some horrible games, some very good games, and looking to make some money. So
there we go. Anyway, thank you to 12 Out Sports. Thank you to Chai Poker. And thank you to VGK Pop Sockets. For Token Tony, for Dead Aaron, I am Spike McAwesome, wishing you all good luck at the windows, and we'll see you in a couple of days.